Hey guys, today we are going to be having Podcast Now on. I've had him back on the channel to talk about Spider-Man 2, The Wolf Among Us, and The Expanse. So I look forward to the collaboration. Let's hope it goes well. Alright, so today we're talking about Spider-Man 2, The Wolf Among Us 2, and The Expanse. And I got 5 questions for each.
I'm ready to rock.
Alright. For The Wolf Among Us 2, what is your estimated release date for the game?
Oh man. So I'm thinking, well, I want it to be first half of the year, but I'm gonna go second half. So I'll in terms of predictions, I'll predict probably in the fall, like September, October. And I believe they'll come out, they said, episodically. So literally every 2-3 weeks, maybe once a month. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it'll start probably in that September, October period, and then it may go to the end of the year or maybe even into 2024.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say my predicted release date is gonna be October 11th, mainly because that's the 10-year anniversary of the first game.
That line up actually really nice.
Yep. For question number 2, do you think Bigby and Snow will start a romantic relationship together?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's an easy one. I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah. I completely agree. I just replayed the game like a couple months back, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's an incredible game,
Yeah.
and hopefully and I think they'll nail the second one.
Yep. What do you think the main plot will be? I don't personally think there's gonna be like any murders. Yes, you'll probably have to kill some people, but I don't think they're gonna make it like another murder in Town. I maybe see it more as going to find Bigby or Snow's parents.
Well, I think maybe the first half of it will probably center on like their current situation with her being like the mayor and specifically him being like down on his luck, right? Like being thrown out of the police force or whatever.
Yep.
So I think it'll probably be like a finding yourself kind of thing to begin with. And then it could be more murders or it could just another plot, but I think it'll start with kind of where they're at now and maybe they're not doing all that great, and then it'll evolve and something will happen that'll, kind of steer them on it.
Yes. For question 4, I'm wondering how much do you think the game will be? Like, how much will it cost?
Oh man. Well, because it's episodic, I mean, I could see it being full price. I could see it being 60 because Life is Strange was. Um, but if you're gonna do it episodically, do you do it like if you buy a season, you get it for one price, and then episodes individually or another price? That'll actually be pretty. I would imagine they. Well, I don't know. I think we've kind of moved past that point. I'd imagine it's probably a full price game though. I know Telltale didn't do that, but again, like Life is Strange didn't either, and True Colors, obviously
Yeah.
that one changed it. So I could imagine it being $60. It's 5 episodes, however long each, and you average that out. It seems relatively fair.
Yeah, I see it being like $10 per episode, depending on the length.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think the Faith cliffhanger will be resolved? Because remember at the end, Baby was thinking about the events that happened throughout the game,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, I imagine. I imagine that's a big part of it. I don't think because they care and they're bringing everybody back.
yeah,
So I imagine loose ends or things. Even back then, if they were trying to set up future, I could imagine maybe it's not exactly the same as it would have been 9-8 years ago. Like if they were going to just do a sequel right away. But I still think they'll kind of like weave it into whatever they have planned now.
yep. And now we are on to the Spider-Man 2 questions. And for question number 1, do you think Peter's house will be accessible in free roam?
Peter's house accessible in free roam. As like you kind of like walk around and just like look at things.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd imagine. I don't think it'd be like super detailed. But maybe like the Miles mission
yeah,
in Miles. When you're kind of going around and interact. But that was like more of a story thing. So if you did that, but just you could do it at any time, I could imagine they do it.
yeah, that's true. For question number 2, how far along into the story do you think we will get the Venom battle? I'm personally thinking it might be the very end, although we saw the trailer in like 2021, so I'd imagine it's like a beginning or middle start. But then what would we do for the rest of the game?
A Venom battle?
Yeah, like how far along into the story do you think we would get it?
Well, they could do more than one, so I think it could be pretty early. Depends on when they. I guess it depends on two things: when they introduce his character and how they introduce his character. Because if they introduce his character early on and they introduce his character to us, like the characters or like Peter, then you may have to battle it right away, and then maybe it would retreat and you have to do it later on.
Yeah, so
Um,
yeah, so kind of like the Man Bat side mission from Arkham Knight, where he has to go after him like 3 or 4 times and inject him with the cure or whatever.
Yeah, but it'd be like a main it'd be main mission, like a
Yeah,
main, actual story thing. But because of like the symbiote stuff and what you could do with Peter with that, you'd have to imagine. Yeah, I feel like they'll meet. Maybe the symbiote thing will happen. Then later on you'd fight again. I could see at least two fights with Venom.
yeah. So for question number 3, how much do you think it will cost?
Just 70 full price. A PlayStation or a next gen full price game. So it'll be that I don't even think that's a question. I think
Yeah,
that'll be a confirmed thing. $70,
yeah,
only PS5.
yeah, it's probably gonna be like 70, $80 US. I mean, I paid like $100 for God of War. I can definitely see them being the same price.
That's Canadian though, right?
Yeah, that's Canadian. So
Yeah. For US it'll be 69.99, and then for Canada and elsewhere, Australia, places like that, it'll definitely be higher, but it's a full price. It'll be $70 US, and then whatever the price is everywhere else.
yeah. When do you think it will release in the year?
Well, I'll go bold and I'll say November of 2023. September obviously makes the most sense because that's when the first one came out. But because of the world of delays and games not being ready on time, I think September was probably the plan, or maybe still is the plan, and then it'll be pushed a couple. So I'm almost like predicting a delay. But I think it'll be no. I think it'll be like right at the end. I think they'll want it next year. They'll want it next fall. They'll try for September, and they'll end up coming out, October, November. So I'll say November to be bold.
Yeah, I'm just say around that time frame, maybe December if it comes to that. But yeah, I can
Yeah,
definitely see it around that. I was thinking spring, but then Suicide Squad got delayed until then. And I'm thinking, oh, there goes spring.
yeah. I just don't think there's any way they'll be ready. There's no way it's coming out the first half
Yeah,
of
there.
next year.
Yeah, there's no way a triple AAA game from PlayStation would be coming out in the first half of the year. I mean, unless it's
Yeah.
Horizon, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think we will get a Craven battle? Like Craven the Hunter, the guy we heard in the teaser?
Yeah. I'd imagine if and he seems to be in the game, because of that stuff. So yeah, there'll be more than one villain, and there'll be more than one villain fight. You'd have to imagine, right? So yeah, I think that would be a pretty easy one as well.
Yeah, yeah. There's a chance that Craven might be teaming up with him, and Craven could act as like the Hugo Strange of Spider-Man 2, just taunting
Right.
Spider-Man and Miles all throughout the game until the very end.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely possible.
Yep. And now we are on to the Expanse. How long do you think each episode will last per episode?
Um. Well, it's being made from the makers of True Colors. True Colors was around 2.5 hours each. I think that's probably the going rate, going time for episodic games.
Yep.
So I'd say, I don't think you want to go less than two. So I'd say probably 2 hours.
Yeah. I could definitely see it being an hour and a half. Yeah, I could see it being like an hour and a half, and then but 2 hours is pretty good.
Yeah.
So that would be what, like 8, 9 hours altogether for a game. That's
Yeah. That's
pretty good.
kind of why
Actually.
I say, yeah, that's why I say like two, because 10, nice even, nice round number. And I'm sure like maybe one is 2.5, maybe one is an hour 45, right?
Yep.
Like they can, they're not going to be exact. They're not going to be exact anytime.
Yeah.
But the 2 hour range is a relatively, it's even what Telltale did back in the day. A lot of the games would end up being around that time,
Yep.
or around 1.5, like 135.
Yep. Do you think it will have a sequel or prequel after the game is complete?
Oh man. I want them to go back to Life is Strange, so I would say no. I don't really know why they're even doing it, to be honest with you. Like, I'll buy it. I'm not into the Expanse, like the show, so
No,
I really don't know
ne-
nothing. I know nothing about it,
ne-
but
I know nothing about it either. I'm just buying it to play on the channel.
right, yeah, yeah, but it's still, it's a talented team, a team that I like and I've liked for a long time. I just don't know why they chose it, but I would personally want them to go back to Life is Strange. I don't know if they'd be able to do two games at once, maybe, but maybe not. So once the Expanse is done, hopefully they make a Life is Strange. So I would say no. I'd say it's probably a one-off thing.
Yeah. For question number 4, do you so how long do you think it would take to release the episodes? Like,
So
like
yeah.
episode 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to whatever amount of episodes they choose to release.
So I think the Expanse will be like Life is Strange, where it's all at once. I think Telltale is the only one, which is odd, but I think Telltale is the only one that's doing actual episodic. You have to wait for the next one. I think the Expanse will be, and maybe I don't know if they've already said it, maybe not, but I fully going in would expect the Expanse to just be all at once. It's 5 episodes; they're each broken up, but it's in one game. You get it all at once, and you just play through. That's what
Yep.
I would expect from it.
Yep. And for question number 5, when do you think we would get more information on the game?
Oh man. Well, Jeff Keighley seems to like it, so so probably the Game Awards. I'd
Yeah.
imagine, whether it's like a release date thing or just we see it again, and then as we get closer, those 3 months before release kind of thing. But I'd imagine Game Awards is possible for a date, and then as the months start going, if it's like May, then maybe like February, March, we'd start to get a lot more details about it.
Yep. I have another question for you. And
Yeah.
this is the final question out of all of them. Do you think there will be any cliffhangers in the game? So, like Batman the Telltale series, after the end of episode 2, dependent on that choice where you either save Catwoman or Harvey. If you save Catwoman, well, I think we all know what happens to Harvey's face. And then after, The Wolf Among Us episode 1, when you find Snow's head on the doorstep. Do you think there will be any cliffhangers like that in the Expanse?
Yeah, I'd expect so, or even True Colors, from like 1 to 2, or I really think all of the episodic games to an extent set up the next one, so there is some sort of cliffhanger, kind of where you're left on the edge of your seat kind of thing. To different levels, sometimes it's more tense or like bigger than other times. So yeah, I think, like I said, I think
Yep.
every episode would have some sort of cliffhanger, but not all of them would be insanely serious. But they'll have it to say, even, and that's why I don't really like them coming out all at once, because I don't, there is really no need for a cliffhanger because there's the next episode you just go right into and start playing it.
Yeah,
So I think cliffhangers work better if if you're releasing them weekly or monthly or whatever, not all at once. But I think they'll still do it anyway.
yeah. Thank you for coming onto the channel, man. Thank you.
Of course, thank you for having me as always.
You're welcome. You're welcome to come back on here anytime you want. Just send me a message on Twitter.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
Anytime.
Goodbye.